Hello, my name is Professor Sylvester Henderson. I am the CEO of Professor for Life Incorporated, and I am so honored this early morning in California to interview Dr. Jada-Ann Riggins, Ph.D. She's a Cybersecurity Research Fellow and Associate Lecturer Faculty for Montgomery College. And I believe is it Gaithersburg, Maryland. And so now tell me again, Dr. Riggins, where is it located again?
In Rockville.
Rockville, Maryland. And
yes.
So I want to welcome Dr. Riggins. Welcome.
Welcome, well, thank you for having me, Professor Henderson. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for the time you have today for me and the opportunity, and happy Juneteenth.
Oh, thank you so much. Dr. Riggins, could you introduce yourself to our digital media academic world? Tell us about your training, where you went to college, what was your bachelor's, master's, and your doctorate degree all in, and all those wonderful things.
Alrighty, so again, my name is Dr. Jada-Ann Riggins. I am a cybersecurity researcher, scholar, and scholar practitioner, as I like to notate myself. I went to Coppin State University initially for my undergraduate program, where I was introduced to computer science. I changed my major about 4 or 5 different times before my academic advisor sat me down, and she was like, look, you've done music, you've done sports management. Mind you, didn't like sports. I don't like sports at all besides soccer. Didn't know look at sports. So sports medicine, then I tried nursing, and the 4th time she said, hey, the only way that I'm allowing you to change it is if you try out this program, which was data and computer information systems. So we ended up changing my major. I transitioned over to University of Baltimore, where I did complete my undergraduate program in computer information systems with a focus on business administration. I completed my master's degree at University of Maryland in computer engineering, where I focus on cloud computing architecture and system integration. And I recently finished my Ph.D. at Capital Technology University in cybersecurity leadership, and I am also working on my 2nd master's degree at Texas A&M School of Law, where I am focusing on cybersecurity policy and regulatory policy.
Wow, a very, very smart young lady and professional you are. God bless you. Dr. Riggins, can you describe your work and obligations as a cybersecurity research fellow and adjunct professor lecturer for Montgomery College?
So currently in Montgomery College, I do have a workload where I am overseeing the computer networking classes, and I am responsible for making sure that those classes are administered to the students that I do have. So I'm working, we have templatized curriculums, which is kind of modified around what the community would like to see us teach our students to prepare them for the cybersecurity accelerator program that they are in. So I do get to work with the students. I'm working with high school students as young as 13 onwards to 50, 60 plus, who are coming back for their education and to get into the cybersecurity field. And I'm administering the curriculum in that facet. As a fellow, I am in one of their fellowship programs where they do have academics across disciplines. So I'm working with people in the English department, nursing department, all the other variations of Montgomery College's academic scholarship. And we are coming together to study pedagogy and relate that back to our discipline. So I was appointed by my department to go and learn how we can translate some of the different pedagogical methods into cybersecurity and maximize our curriculum and our impact and reach with the students. I did get a lot of feedback from my students and from my professors and other instructors who did sit in, who really liked the way that I did teach, and I was nominated to go and represent my department.
Wow. You know what? You are going to have a great career as an academic, I could tell. What inspired you to want to join the faculty at Montgomery College?
So, quick backstory, I'm going to trace it back to when I was an undergrad. So initially I was in Coppin's SASA program. So it was for students who were incoming freshmen. They were required to come to the summer program and get their college career kickstarted as a first generation college student. My parents did make sure that I was enrolled in that program. I want to say about December, my grandmother, she was diagnosed with dementia. So I only was able to do 2 full semesters, which was my summer and my fall semester, I believe. And my grandmother was diagnosed with dementia. I'm the oldest of all my parents' children. So that responsibility of helping my family take care of my grandmother and being one of her primary caretakers did fall onto me, my mother, and the other women in my family. So the option came where I had to ultimately leave college. My grandmother at this time was in Colorado, and that's where I'm originally from. So I did leave from Baltimore and I did go back to Colorado to help out with my family and make sure that I was assisting with, the day-to-day responsibilities for being a primary caretaker and trying to balance school. So while I did go back, my academic advisor, Miss Donna, she reached out to me, and this was the woman who, like I said, in 1 semester or 2 semesters there, I changed my major 3 different times. So she noticed that I wasn't enrolled in spring classes. She was really on top of me. She was like, you're very talented, but I was all over the place, very scattered, and I didn't have a good sounding board. My parents were just like, go to college. But I'm like, go to college and do what? I want to explore everything. So Ms. Donna reached out to me. She's like, hey, you're not enrolled in the spring semester. What's going on? Like, you're a talented student. Why are you not enrolled in summer courses? What can I do to support you? And at first, being, I want to say 18 at the time, it's kind of embarrassing to talk about the things that go on amongst your family privately out vocally, because I was always taught what happens in the home stays in the home. So I didn't want to vocalize that. I was just like, hey, I had to come home with my family. So she calls me every single day for a week straight. Finally, on Friday, I was like, hey, I have to take care of my family. I can't enroll this semester. I'm not coming back. I'll figure it out when I can come back. And she was like, no, what happens with students is they always leave and say they'll come back and they never come back. I'm not letting you off my radar. Tell me where you are. So I was like, hey, I came back home to Colorado. And I was going back and forth between Colorado and New York. And she's like, hey, look, what we're going to do, I found this community college. It's not far from where you said you are. I'm going to reach out to some of the advisors and get you enrolled in the classes that you need for your GERs to make sure that you don't miss a semester. So when you are able to actually come back to Coppin, you already have your GERs and we can get you into your major. So, working at Montgomery College, transitioning back to your question, it's more of a personal thing for me. It's just my commitment to academia. Sometimes students do get caught in life things, and the community colleges are there to support them or serve as an entryway into academia. Life isn't always linear, and it's not a one size fits all. There's a lot of traditional academics, and I'm not the traditional academic. Everything about my life has kind of been non-traditional, first generation everything. So I want to be that person who's a person providing access and being sure that I'm providing representation and the encouragement that people have to continue coming back. So going to Montgomery College was a personal commitment to me to make sure that I'm serving as the Miss Donna to parents or students or teachers or whoever is experiencing things like I did, to make sure that their potential isn't lost in life.
So it's like someone paid it forward for you, and now
Absolutely.
you're having the opportunity to pay it forward for other like-minded students.
Absolutely.
That's wonderful.
I think that, I've had a lot of people who paid it forward for me. So I think that I don't want to get lost in the work and forget about what they asked of me. They didn't ask for anything monetary. They didn't ask for me to pay a $5,000 boot camp or any of that. They just asked for me to pay it forward when it was my time. And that's my way to pay it forward.
Wow, that's great. Montgomery College is fortunate to have you, Dr. Riggins. What pivotal experiences led you into cybersecurity architecture and ultimately in specializing in governance, risk, and compliance?
So I have so many life paths. I feel like I've done a little bit of everything. Again, like I said, I was all over the place in my 20s and when I was a bit younger. So when I was in college, I got nominated as most likely to become a lawyer. love arguing with people. My point is my point. I always know what I'm talking about. Or like, I'm going to go find out or read a book, because I always had a book and a notebook in my hand. To this day, still the same way. But I always wanted to be an attorney. Like that was my Iron Man. I wanted to be an attorney. So, which led to that cybersecurity. I finished my degree. When I was in undergrad, I started working at Comcast in Colorado. So again, Miss Donna and my mother, who worked at Comcast, she worked in the marketing department. They found a way for me to get into tier 3 technical support on the help desk. So with me getting onto the help desk, I was able to learn tech across every level. So I was working with the engineers. I'm working directly with the leadership. I was it's such a pivotal point in my life at only 19, 20, 21 years old, where I was exposed to so many different things. And I wasn't the person necessarily who liked to go and talk to people, but I understood things on a very systematic level and very minuscule level, where I could see things that were very fragmented and put things together. And that's what kind of transitioned into that. So just the way that I think about things and architect things in my mind, and then my passion to always become a lawyer have merged finally, and I found a pathway to do that. So I knew I wanted to be a professor, knew I wanted to be a lawyer, knew I wanted to do like something where I was able to think outside of the box and get rewarded for how much I knew, not how I looked or how people perceive me, but how my work was. And I think that cybersecurity and me getting into governance, risk, and compliance and looking at the different things and noticing the anomalies is kind of, I say I mastered my own lane out, which is what I did. I kind of carved my own lane out. I'm like, hey, I'm good at this. Let's see if we can master this. I'm good at this. Also, where is the meeting point? And governance, risk, and compliance was the meeting point for me. I can look at things from a system architecture level, and I can also go and look at the legalities behind things and figure out how they merge, because essentially in my discipline, you're looking at technology, people, processes, and you're seeing how those merge together and affect greater society as a whole and the impact that supersedes your day-to-day work, which is how I like thinking about things.
Wow. You know what? I commend you for your work with information technology and networking and all those things, because as a senior, I'm still learning myself. You know what? With over a decade of experience designing enterprise scale cloud security programs, what do you believe organizations still misunderstand about cloud risk?
I think what I'm noticing a lot in my work is that people are looking just as like they're looking, a problem comes up and they're looking to resolve that problem. It's very reactive behavior. When a lot of things, like even if you look at life, right? If you learn to be proactive, you can kill off a lot of the issues that you have in your life. Instead of waiting for the bill collector to call, you call the bill collector and you tell them, hey, all I got is $50. I know that my bill is $100. I got 50 for you now. I'll give you 50 in 2 weeks. That's more proactive. And I'm seeing that model I'm not seeing that in cybersecurity organizations or just federal organizations per se. So a lot of things are not looked at until there's an issue. So if there's an anomaly, Splunk detected something that wasn't supposed to be there, or the reports or different things are stating that there's an issue, that's when people are reacting. It's not as proactive as I think that it should be. And I also think that there is a education gap, which is the biggest risk. 9 times out of 10, you have some kid who went and bought a test dump and took a test where they got 12 different certifications, and they think that they're the smartest person in the room, but they also don't have the expertise or the education behind them. So they really don't know what they're doing. So they're misconfiguring systems, and they don't even know or understand the greater impact of those things or actually care, because it's just a paycheck to them. When essentially this is our network that is being affected. And I think that if you're making those decisions, you have to understand networking. How are you configuring cloud enterprises, or you're doing anything in the cloud and you don't know how to subnet? I can't tell you how many kids I've worked with, or just people I've worked with in general, who are going and deploying different systems in AWS, Azure, or GCP, but they don't know how to subnet. If I ask them how to subnet and I give them a binary code, they cannot subnet, and that infuriates me. And maybe it's because I'm someone who started on the help desk, and these are things that we had to know, but I think that you should know how to build a Raspberry Pi. I think that you should know how to subnet. I think that these are essential things that you need to learn how to do if you're going to be leading enterprises and organizations.
Wow. As a lecturer in cloud computing and networking technology, how do you continue to prepare your students for the rapidly evolving cybersecurity landscape?
So with me, I love that I get to be a scholar practitioner. So I have over a decade of experience doing the work that I've done. So I am able to take real life experiences that I've had or I experience in my daily work and bring that back to the classroom and talk about those things. I'm able to say, hey guys, if you're on this help desk job, or if we're doing something where it's like a ticketing system and I'm teaching them about how ticketing systems work, I can go and show them the work that I've done. I have a running log of work that I've done throughout my career. I call it like my little brag book. So it's like a binder and it's everything that I've done. I have like screenshots of work that I've did in my master's program, stuff that I did on the help desk that's not confidential. I have like screenshots of tickets that I created in 2014, and I'm showing them the value of what they're doing and how to grow their expertise and their skill set. Because I think that a lot of people think you come into something and then the answer is right there in 6 months. No, your education and your skills are built over years, and you do have to accumulate those things to be able to fortify your learning.
That's a great answer. That's really a great answer, because what you're doing is you're taking life application and sharing it.
Right.
You're taking life application and your experiences as a young scholar and a practitioner, and you're sharing it. Let me ask you this question. What innovations do you believe community colleges like Montgomery College should adopt to stay ahead in cybersecurity education?
That is a tough one, but I think that everyone should adopt AI. I don't think that AI is a bad one. I'm gonna take the safe answer and just say AI.
Okay. Okay.
I think that there's a lot of misconceptions around AI, but something that I've had really good luck with my students and in my line of work doing is coining responsible AI and showing people how to responsibly use something. There is always been an issue that people have had with technology, and the way that we can overcome issues is through education, I believe. So if you're giving students the tools and the resources on how they can use this effectively, that makes it better for all of us. Instead of telling my students, don't use AI, I've had my students, I've created quizzes and materials to show them how they can prompt AI, how they can make sure that they're refining their searches to make sure that they're not overusing it and they understand the societal impacts of using AI so they're not misusing the technology. If I catch a student submitting a paper that has plagiarism, I'm showing my students, hey, how can you fact check and make sure that what AI is telling you is correct? Instead of you submitting a paper that has falsified citations, how are you doing your quality check? How are you doing these things? So I think that when schools take away the fear-mongering per se behind AI and actually fortify and give students and teachers the education and the resources to responsibly use it, it can enhance our classrooms and the way that we teach in the modern world.
Well, you know, AI, technology, all that stuff is going to be in your generation of becoming a well-known and world-acclaimed academic. Professor Henderson, he came from that old school where we didn't have AI and all those computers and all, you know, but I commend all of you now for your work in technology. I really started working with technology only during the COVID time. You know, that's where, as a music professor, that's how I started using it. And I learned so much. It was kind of like I felt I learned another degree. But before that, I didn't do anything online primarily, you know, really? Because I was a choir teacher. And so everything I did was, you know, face to face. And, you know, right. having the students in the piano and conducting and all these things. And so I just think it's so wonderful that all of this technology, because the world is changing. The world is growing rapidly with the usage of machines and people taking over other folks' jobs. And so this is a wonderful career that you are becoming an academic in, to help young people learn as you've learned. Which brings me to my next question. Your publications, including automation-enabled compliance and governance, and governing clouds and AI, offers new approaches to resilience. What key sites do you hope readers take away from your, I believe that was your research publication, your book?
Which one? You said governance. I'm sorry, which one was it specifically?
I think automation. I think when I researched it, said you wrote something entitled Automation-Enabled Compliance and Governance.
Automation, yes.
And we just kind of know, that offer new approaches to, I guess, working in technology. What key insights do you hope your readers take away?
Again, pivoting back to my question, technology, I believe technology isn't changing anything or anybody or changing our life. What it is it's providing interconnectivity. But if we use the technology to harness our day-to-day, we can maximize our time for creativity. When I put together this integration, this was some work that I did when I was a federal employee, worked for the government to support the government. So what I did was, I was the most junior person on the team, youngest person on the team, and they had invested over $70 million on a software solution. They were like, hey, we have this problem. Our CISO sat me down. He said, hey, we have this problem. How can we implement this in? We made this investment with this, into this solution. How can we use this? So me being a researcher and priding myself on, making sure that I'm providing people with academically rigorous information. They didn't know I was a Ph.D. student at the time. What I went and did is I did a lot of research on how you can leverage automation and use automation to enhance workflows. So this particular publication was on how you can leverage robotics process automation to enhance compliance workflows and integrate that into Splunk per se, and make sure that the tools are still doing what we need them to do. So the AI is doing what it's supposed to do, or how we set it up to do, but it's coming in, humans are coming in and just providing the human oversight. And when the automation tools are doing the tracking and the logging, we're able to go back and do other different tasks within the organization. So my key point in this was, I believe, again, automation is a tool, and when humans are freed up to be creative, they don't have to be glued to a computer. They don't have to be confined to only think restrictive. I think that what AI has done is allowed us to enhance our workflows or automate our workflows so we have time to be human and enhance our creativity, which is one of my key focal points. This is how you could use it. This is how we've used it. And this is what you guys can do also. So you can free up your people's time to do more creative things.
So do you look at AI more kind of like just a friend that you can have conversation with? Mm-hmm. They are not there to do your work. It's there as a way of just adding some suggestions or kind of working in concert with you. Mm-hmm. But you're still the guiding person. You're still the person who's guiding the ship. Because I'm still understanding AI. I mean, I hear about it every day, and sometimes I'm frustrated even when I call Comcast, because I want to talk to a real person. I don't want to talk to this machine, Right. But I'm realizing that sometimes that the machine is able to help, and they're able to do the same thing, which I'm sure gives more time for the workers to do other things. So, just kind of advice for seniors like myself. You are an enthralling young lady to listen to about something that I am so unfamiliar with, but I'm excited to see a young person in this line of work. Congratulations.
Thank
What
you.
guidance would you give to new students or early career professionals who want to lead in cloud security? Cloud meaning, I'm assuming, data, where you form and where you store information, governance, risk, and compliance, or cybersecurity strategies. What type of advice would you give people if they want to do this for a career?
So my key point would be is I'm going to take a less technical route and make this about soft skills. But my key advice is everybody who's in leadership needs to know your name. They need to know who you are, because you're going to run into issues. You're going to have problems. You're going to make mistakes, which are all okay. But you want people to know your name and have that trust, and you have that relationship built with them where you can lean on them when you need to. I can't name how many times I've made mistakes or I've had pitfalls in my career, but I had someone that I built a relationship with 10 years ago who was like, hey, Jada-Ann, I know that this made sense to you. Don't do that again. Don't do that again. And that's what you need. You can't do anything in this life alone. And I think that social media has taken away the value of community, or it's given an illusion of community, but you need real people in your corner. It's not the people that you might see on social media. There's people who don't have social media, who are power players, who can put you in course correct at every single point in your career. And that's what's made a difference with me. The way that I got into my Ph.D. program was when I was a student assistant at University of Baltimore. And I did my job and I did it the best that I could. 10 years later, the person that I worked for as student assistant for wrote me a letter of recommendation to get into my Ph.D. program. When I was in my Ph.D. program, I had a good relationship with my academic advisor, and he was able to help me land my first position as somebody in the federal government, and that was a dream of mine. So it wasn't about knowing the most. It wasn't about being the most confident. It was about building relationships and having that trust established within yourself and within your people, so they can put you in position to win. You don't have to be the smartest, but you do need people to win. You do need your people to win.
What a smart answer that was, because one of the things that is missing for not just young people such as yourself, but people in general today, is the inability to learn how to, basically in a nutshell, shut up and listen. And when you learn to shut up and listen, you gain information, and then you learn to listen critically, and you learn to ask other folks for help, and then you learn to develop mentorship and mentor and establish mentors for yourself. Soft skills are so important in just not the world of academia, but it's important in the world of academia. It's important in the world of government. It's important in the world of entertainment, in the world of faith-based work. In everything you do, you have to have great soft skills. So once again, that is very, very smart, and I'm glad to hear you say that, because that's an area that no one concentrates on. Just two more questions for you. How do you foster critical thinking and civic responsibility in your classroom?
Civic responsibility and critical thinking. So in my classroom, I always tell students, don't believe nothing I tell you. I know it says doctor, don't believe anything I tell you. If I'm telling you something, you do not need to believe everything I tell you. And that just goes back to how I was raised. My mom and my grandmother was a librarian. She always used to tell me, don't believe nothing I tell you. She would give me a book. Go verify and fact check that what I just told you was correct. She'd give me the book to wherever she told me about. So kind of with my students, I thank God that I was raised how I was raised, because I had a phenomenal support system that raised me the way that they raised me. But I implore my students to do the same thing. If I'm telling them something, I'm also giving them the resource to make sure that they're forming their own thoughts about what I'm saying. I don't want you to believe what I'm saying. I want you to go fact check what I'm saying to make sure that it's right. And sometimes what I've done in the classroom, I'll say something completely wrong. I'll give one of my students, or if I'm giving a lecture, I'll write out the wrong definition on purpose, just to make sure somebody catches it. Next class, and I encourage my students to bring what they have to come. I have an exit ticket and an admission ticket. So to come into my classroom, they have to have 3 questions that they want to ask about the lecture, because they did their pre-work, what I call their pre-work. And their exit ticket is whatever we've discussed during that day. I have 3 questions that they have to write out and give to me before they leave. That's part of their attendance and their participation for the day. So in the questions, I've asked students, what did you like about the lecture? Or was there anything that you would like to explore further? And I've had students actually say, hey, Dr. Riggins, you said that for IDS technologies, that this was the definition. When I was reading in chapter 50 or chapter 5 on page 56, it said that this definition was this. What did that mean? I'm like, thank you. You caught that. I wanted you to do that. So it's just giving students for the critical thinking aspect, it's giving students and imploring students to explore learning. And I think that that's the responsibility as an educator. You want to give students tools. You want them to think and have independent thoughts. You don't want to pass on opinions, which everyone has nowadays. You want to show people how to think. There's not one right answer, but you do need to be able to think for yourself. And that is how I implore my students to think. So it's just giving them the tools. And I do believe in a sense that is part of civil servantship. You are continuing thoughts. You are continuing to give students the tools to become new leaders and not think uniformly, which is essentially how I do like to lead, and I think is most effective. I had the teachers that I had that I always remember, they didn't do what everyone else did. They were very unique, but they had a very subtle way of showing me how to do things. I'm in my 30s now, and I always remember different things that people did at different points in my life. And I'm like, oh my God, like someone showed me this at 14 years old, or my grandma did this at 14 years old. I didn't know at 33 that this would make sense, but they gave me what I like to say is a toolkit. So at different points in my life, whether it makes sense in that moment or later, you give them a toolkit and you're helping them build their toolkit so they can always be able to be successful in whatever line of work they do or however they go about life. And essentially, I do think that is civil servantship. You're continuing to develop people's toolkits.
And that's a great way of educating the youthful academic community. That's a great way of building knowledge and information and building a mind that has a lot of inquiry, because that's how you learn, by having inquiry. I'm going to publicly thank on this media platform, Dr. Daryl Norman Burrell, for recommending you. What a delightful young lady you are. And what an enthralling interview this has been. My final question for you is that do you have anything you would like to final thoughts or ideas you would like to communicate?
So I've gotten into content recently, and as you can tell, I'm a bit independent in my own thinking. So a part of what I've also learned how to do is say things in the most eloquent way, but I also want to start conversations around non-traditional pathways into academia. So last week, don't quote me, I shared on a media platform that you do not need a master's degree to get into academia, or you need a master's degree to get into higher education. And I do stand in that. And I want to publicize that even more avidly. It's going viral. And I've had a lot of pushback from R1 institutions, but R1 institutions aren't the only goalposts. They don't speak for people who have non-traditional methods, and there do need to be more faces in academia. If you have a master's degree, you are on the right path and you have the tools that you need to be an educator and be a part of these conversations that are happening across academia. I'm often the youngest and the only Black person in the spaces that I am in, and I want to see more of us. So if you think you need another degree, you don't. Figure out what you need to do to get into this space and become a part of these conversations. We are our children's future. If there isn't a lot of people like us who look like it, or there are not a lot of brown and Black faces in our field, we are the last in the conversation, and we're again being reactive in what's being taught to our children. If you want to be at the forefront of thought leadership, create knowledge, and be a part of these conversations, get into academia, please. No, you don't need a Ph.D. to do the work that you did. I learned this after I had the Ph.D. However, if you have one, please join us in academia. We need you. Our kids need you.
You have said it better than anyone could say it. Thank you, Dr. Jada-Ann Riggins, for taking the time out of your busy schedule to allow me, as the CEO of Professor for Life Incorporated, to interview you. I wish you nothing but God's blessings, and I'm sure that whatever you endeavor to do, along with your passion for learning and teaching and cloud and data and security, I believe that you are going to be a great addition to any college or university, as you are already at Montgomery College. Nothing but much success and love to you and all that you do. Have a positive day, and thank you once again for your time.
Thank you, Professor Henderson. It's been it's been a pleasure. And thank you, Professor Burrell, for the opportunity as well. Thank you both for the platform and the opportunity to speak to you today. I really do appreciate your time and being able to share thoughts and discuss amongst academics.
Thank you. God bless you. Bye-bye now.
God bless. Bye-bye.